Good morning, everybody, and this is your Dow Jones day trade setups for today, January the 19th. So, big move down yesterday. We sort of consolidated a little bit at this level here, which we were looking at, which was 33,824. Yeah, 33,824. Broke through that without too much effort, and broke through the next bit of structure as well, which is 33,450, and now it looks like we are aiming for this little bit of structure here at 33,185. Couple of key things to look at on this chart. First one is there is our previous swing low. Look at the oscillators. This is where our current swing low is. Look where the oscillator is at the moment. So there's divergence forming, not confirmed yet. Obviously, we need to see the oscillators swing around. And then if you look at us on the weekly, it is looking like a potential double top, but we would need to drop below that area on the weekly for that to really materialize, and that's 32,472. And then the other reality that we do have is we've got a crossover of the moving averages that are starting to happen at the moment. So this was a volatile area in 2021. We tested it a few times last year, but I would expect this to be volatile again. And then if you just look at this on the daily, you can see we've got a moving average crossover. We have tested the 155 once, but we're back into moving averages here. So toss a coin. We could be looking for a continuation for the bigger downtrend of last year, or we could just be in this volatile range for some time to come. Looking at the daily as well, you can see we do have a crossover here of the oscillators, but we are above the moving averages, so there's no valid short here on the daily for me. This is a pullback onto the moving averages at the moment. So we start dropping down through the time frames. You can see a pretty big move, found some support here, and then when the market opened yesterday, we basically plummeted again like a stone. We've got a crossover of the moving averages, but again, I want confirmation. So I need to see a retest of a breakout before jumping in short. Not going to jump in short when the oscillators are grouped to the downside like this. Excuse me. Bit of a frog in the throat this morning. So we do have this gap here as well, and it does look like that is what we are probably going to target. Just bear in mind, if you look to the left, there's a lot of chaos that happened between 33,450 and this area here at 32,858. So that is kind of the structure that we've got to the left. It's chaos, but nevertheless it is structure. If we start dropping down to the hour, you can see through the morning session, pre-market, we did have the crossover. We were bouncing off the 155 here. No real structure to the left. It does look like that was the area that we were looking at. Now, interesting observation here. So this often changes. What I've noticed is sort of we start mucking around and not going anywhere, and then typically we would be testing the bottom end of the structure to the left. So it would be this here. And you can see there was definitely some test of that over here. Just watch my cursor. So you can see this underside here, these tails. So then that plays out. Then all of a sudden, we would start switching that and we would start aiming for this top part of the structure. So it's never the same thing. It's always varying between the top and the bottom part of the structure. And it'll hold the bottom part of the structure for a couple of days, sometimes a couple of months, and then all of a sudden it would swing, and then we would start looking at the top part of the structure. So you need to be wary of that, and you need to make sure that you put both of those levels in. That's why I say always look for 3 levels. If you can get 3 levels that are fairly close to each other, at least it gives you a good picture of where the potential swing is going to be. And then all you need to do is wait for the price action. So we got tails here, but we didn't really get price action, I suppose, until this range bar, we broke below the range bar. You're stop would have been up there at 160 points. So there was a range break trade, or you could have taken a stab at it because you're below the moving averages, but it's not the way I would have traded it. But anyway, so for me there was no entry, even though it fell like a stone. There was no retrace, so could not get in on it. Anyway, on the hour, we have a grouping here of the oscillators, so we are extremely oversold. You don't want to be jumping in down there, but what you do want to be paying attention to is whatever pullback happens, and this is the first pullback, 33,450. There is another little one that you can pay attention to, which is right there, and that is 33,380. So I'm looking for price to come and reject that area for a move to the downside. Now, if we look at this on the 15-minute, that does not look like it's going to happen. So if you look at where the oscillators are heading at the moment, it looks like range, and then probably a just quick move down to 33,100, and then that would close the gap, and then possibly a move back up. So, and it's not really worth trading. Well, I suppose it's 100 points. Oh, it's not. It's 120 point risk to 70 point gain, so it's not worth trading. So that is the other issue, well, the other setup that we could potentially have. Again, looking at the 15-minute, you can see you have your structure there. It lines up with the 155, so you could have taken that trade as a breakout. 175 point stop loss to be exact. For me today, we've got a bit of data coming out. We've still got more results coming out, which are going to impact the Dow Jones. So I would prefer a rejection here. So 33,450 or 33,380. I would prefer a rejection here. It gives me a nice tight stop loss, and then I'm aiming for the gap close at 33,100. And that is pretty much the only setup that I can see at the moment. We start breaking above this zone, we're still technically in a downtrend on the 15-minute, so you'd be foolish to be looking for longs intraday. You'd be looking for a rejection of a level higher up, but again, that's quite far away. And I think we do have some gaps, but I think they're on the lower time frames. Nope, we don't have gaps that I can see. Nothing. No, fairly solid downtrend. So no gaps there. But again, if you look at the 5-minute, look what's happening here with the oscillator. So I think you're probably going to swing like this until Europe opens, and then we'll take it from there. This morning session hinges on the DAX, and the DAX is poised. It doesn't have a direction just yet, but it is poised. It's poised to go either way. So at the moment, I have a feeling the morning session will be the same. It'll be kind of probably what we had yesterday, which was just nothing until the US opens. And when the US opens, it's either going to be the bears trying to push through the gap here, or the bulls trying to defend this and buy off it. So that is kind of my view for today. A little bit of a dangerous area to be short. We are extremely oversold. So I definitely would rather be short higher up in order to let this play out. Okay, so that's kind of my view today. I hope it helps, and we will catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.